guys, this is Steffi, aka In My Humble Opinion, and today I have been waiting to do a reaction video to this episode. It is Season 3, Episode 4, San Junipero. If you guys haven't watched my year in review video from 2016, I will link it up here. But if you guys did watch that video, you would know that this particular episode is actually my favorite TV episode from 2016. I have seen this episode so many times. I don't think I've ever watched a TV episode, like a singular TV episode, this many times in my life because I love it that much. Yeah, I'm really excited to do this. In fact, I actually already filmed and like reviewed and edited my reaction to episodes 5 and 6, and this is actually the last video reaction that I'm filming for Black Mirror Season 3 because I want to save the best for last. Without further ado, this has been a long time coming, but here we go. I like how like already you hear that breath. I'm assuming maybe it's like Yorkie's breath. Okay, so I think it's important to note that I love how they open the episode immediately with Heaven is a Place on Earth, because it's gonna obviously come back. I'm not familiar with who this character in the TV is, but apparently this is a reference sort of as to like what is going on plot-wise. That's one of like the hints that they have in this episode of what's going on. Oh, I love the cinematography of this episode, particularly like right now. I love how the camera is just like following from behind, because we're sort of like looking at this entire scene from Yorkie's perspective, because as she's new to the world, we're new to this world too. So I love it. Love those little details. Yes! You know, I definitely am someone who, like, I do not go, like, clubbing or, like, whatever. Like, that is not my scene. But you know what? If I lived in the 80s, I would have definitely gone. I love that little detail of, like, her, like, being happy to see a quarter. Because, spoiler alert, it's been a long time since she's seen and interacted with currency. I really enjoy how she, like, doesn't say anything to him. That comes back.
Okay.
Oh.
See you around?
Sorry, dude, you don't like dick. There she is.
Sorry?
Here's the meet cute. Here's the meet cute.
5 actually. I need to catch up with Kelly. Yorkie. Yorkie? Yorkie. Like the dog breed?
Oh, this is so cute already. Oh, God.
Do I have to tug your leash?
Dog joke. Kelly got some jokes. Oh my god, oh my god. Here's the iconic line, it's coming.
What are you doing? I'm regarding you. I figured they were kind of a fashion statement. But then the rest of your outfit is not.
Shade.
Don't try
I think
so hard
Kelly
to
is
look how they
so
make you
funny,
look.
but she's like shady as hell, but she's really funny.
But I like these. They're authentically you.
That's my heart like growing three sizes.
With each other? Oh no.
They're so freaking cute, holy god.
No. I'll look down.
Oh, the Yorkie! Okay, I feel like low-key, I like know the choreography to this entire dance sequence because I've seen it so many times. Shoulders. Oh! Yes! The background people? Oh my god. There's this one girl in particular that tries so hard to pull focus. Her. Oh my god. Oh. I love the way that they styled like Kelly's hair. It's so like 80s Whitney, Janet, like that severe swoop. Oh, how she like puts her leg out in the rain. It's probably because like it's the first time she's like ever felt rain in like for frickin' ever.
I said I'm not much of a dancer. No shit. Like a frightened horse on a frozen lake back there.
Kelly with her shady ass jokes.
You know, 2 girls dancing. Okay, 1. You're stupid. Thank you.
God, I freaking love these two. Oh, there's the scoop.
I've never been on a
I
date
see you,
before.
Kelly.
What do you like, Amish? That's one sheltered existence you got there.
Yeah, well.
Okay, FYI, guys, like, this entire time, the first time I watched this episode, literally had no idea that, like, Kelly was flirting with Yorkie. I was just like, whoop. I was just like, oh, she's just showing her around the town.
Why waste time sitting here?
And that was the moment when I was like, huh?
Want to go to bed with me? We could be back at mine in like...
That's funny because they really could.
Oh, you're nice.
That is like the best
can't.
response to that question.
Okay.
I have to go.
Ooh,
In this?
Yorkie, oh my god.
It's been really great to meet you.
Likewise.
She shakes her hand. Every time I like watch this scene, no matter how many times I've watched this episode, I like internally cringe because of her fucking awkwardness. It's like so endearing, but at the same time you're just like, oh my god, oh my god. Also, like the aesthetic of this entire like look, like the glow of the neon lights and the rain and then the brick, you're just like, oh. The cinematography for this particular episode is like so beautiful. I also love like when it cuts to black, you can kind of hear like hospital background sounds. This is like the sound of the 80s. Yikes! Yorkie loves a good denim. This song is fucking awesome. I think Kelly's jackets in the 80s era are like so fucking cool. Like if I was alive in the 80s, I would definitely take after her aesthetic.
It was just sex.
Awkward. I think this guy looks so much like James Franco, especially his side profile. I love like the first time you watch this episode and you hear this like young guy talking about like his knee surgery shit, you're like, what the fuck? But then like obviously when you watch it again, you're like, oh god, Kelly be playing games with Yorkie. That's why she's so fucking confused. Wait for this guy. Ah! Oh, poor Yorkie. She just doesn't know what to do. I love the cinematography during this scene. How like the camera gets closer and closer and closer. Oh. Yorkie's like, see, I got the same drink we got last week. And she's like, I did not hear a goddamn word you just said. That's your cue, girl. Get up.
Can you just make this easy for me?
Oh my god.
You want to get in my car?
She's like, da-ding, that is the right answer. Shout out to this license plate, 19Kel87. So clever. I also love that like come hither look that she gives Yorkie. Like she's like, this girl doesn't know what's about to happen. The first time I saw this episode, I literally thought this wasn't Kelly's house. I was like, oh my god, she's walking into a stranger's house.
With your mom?
Oh my god, she's like, that is not my mom. I don't give a fuck who that is right now. Oh, oh, oh. Oh god, here we go, kids. So I'm like assuming that this is probably Yorkie's first kiss. And like when you think about it, like she goes from having her first kiss and she's about to like fucking do it for the first time. Like she basically like went up to bat and like ran all through the bases. She said, gotta learn fast tonight. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. And ocean. I see you, Charlie Brooker, Netflix. Subtle imagery there.
Guess you deflowered me.
That line.
What is this, Mary England?
Oh,
Shut up.
they're so cute though. I love like the dialogue between these two characters.
That relationship.
It seems like you know, it's just like so authentic and natural. It's also like so like I don't know, it's cute. I also love how Kelly's hair is like still like perfectly like coiffed.
I like men too. Equal rights.
Yeah, diversity. There we go. Bisexual women on TV. Damn, there are like a lot of tears shed. Like, it's not just us, the people watching, who fucking cry during this episode. Like, the characters cry a lot in this episode, too. See? Hear that? I love how, if you guys are familiar with Charlie Brooker's background, he actually, I think he was like a video game, like, reviewer of some sort before he, like, went into TV. But I love how, like, in this particular episode, it's so normal for, like, a lot of TV shows or movies to use, like, music and, like, production design and costume to really, like, give context as to where we are. But I like how in this particular episode, they use video games to do that. The first time I saw this episode, I was like, what the fuck? Did she walk there? When I was little, I was so scared of Hot Topic, and I literally thought, like, this was what Hot Topic was like inside. Yorkie girl, be careful. I like how they put her reaction to the glass shattering. It's a hint, too. This, of course, was when I was like, wait, what the fuck? Classic. Now the font is changing. When you think of, like, 1980, you forget that it's, like, so close to the 70s, so, like, certain styles and, like, music, it's still there. Damn, man, that guy, like, just cannot win no matter where he is. Also, that font was very 90s. You know we're in the 90s when you see a lot of plaid and flannel. Yorkie also really likes pink. That is such a Stephanie Meyer's font. And of course we're in 2002 because Dance Dance Revolution. A game that defined an era. Damn, I think Kelly in, like, this 2002 era looks so much like freaking Kat Graham. God, that guy, man. Yorkie just, like, does not give a shit about him.
How the hell is this your era?
That's a little offensive, Yorkie.
2, I owe you 0, and 3.
I would be, like, literally so fucking pissed if I was Yorkie. I'd be like, you know what? Like, the last time we saw each other, we, like, hooked up and we had this, like, really meaningful conversation. Like, what the hell?
Manner. Or at least feel something.
I think it's interesting how, like, in this moment, the quadriplegic character is telling, like, the physically abled character that she needs to feel something in this, like, virtual reality world. Ooh. Hashtag Black Mirrors Matter, guys. I think these, like, 2 extras literally look like freaking Sims 2 Nightlife. Damn, you know it's love when a girl climbs up a ladder in heels.
How many of them are dead?
I think it's just, like, so funny rewatching these episodes because, like, it's so clear, like this conversation, they are literally saying, like, what is happening. But the first time you're watching it, when you hear them talk about, like, dead people, you think they're talking about, like, boring ass people. But no, they're literally talking about dead people.
For wanting something.
Damn, Yorkie, take charge, girl. Oh my god, that's, like, so fucking awkward how, like, the literal smoke and little flame shit is, like, blowing in her direction.
Doesn't even taste of anything.
God, there are so many freaking clues and hints.
Jesus, without this place, I never would have met someone like you.
Yeah, you could have.
The first time I watched this episode, at that point, I was like, oh, they're in chat rooms. Chat rooms? What the fuck is this, 1998?
Why?
God, they're so freaking adorable. Like, the chemistry between these 2 characters is so good. Oh my god, is Kelly crying again? She cries a lot in this episode.
Whatever you are, can't
Oh,
stand
she really is crying. Oh, God, I love that song, man. Here we go, kids. The big reveal. The first time I saw this episode, too, I thought that was Yorkie. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Why is Kelly so much older than Yorkie? You kind of have a feeling that is Kelly because based on, like, the way they've costumed elderly Kelly, she has, like, the bold colored mustard yellow jacket and she has these chunky pieces of jewelry that we saw Kelly wearing in, like, all the previous, like, years. And that is when everyone's hearts broke.
Hello, stupid.
Oh.
It's good to see you.
Oh.
He's passing over? When?
her caretaker's reaction to that is always makes me laugh.
That doesn't happen in every senior home already.
That line. It's like so true though, you know?
I never married, so I just figured, you know, what's the harm?
Greg is so nice. Gugu and Mbatha-Raw and the elderly actress who plays Kelly did a really great job with like making sure they're still like the same. Because I really get a sense when I watch all these scenes like, yeah, that's Kelly.
Man.
Oh god, I love this particular song. I think it's so beautiful. Every time Kelly says, hey, like excited. I love like how bright this and warm this like look of this scene is.
Want to marry me instead?
Oh, God.
Just why not someone you connected with?
Oh. My god. Oh.
Betty, yes.
Oh my god, okay, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, okay? Fuck. It's so beautiful. Oh. This is so sweet. It's like so sad because like she's dying, but at the same time it's like beautiful because now she's getting the second chance. There she goes. Oh, and I just like love how she's there like literally by her bedside when she dies, and then just that tear is like one big fuck you to your emotions. Talk about like being at like ultimate peace. Like I feel like this song and then just like the images they use in this particular scene like fit so well with like someone who is like finally at peace. She deserves it. Like, God, after living that kind of life. Also, that breath that she just took really sounds a lot like the breath that we heard at the beginning of the episode. What a beautiful, like, thing for Kelly to have gifted to Yorkie. And I love that she, like, no longer needs her glasses anymore. Oh, there's that hey! This is so fucking cute. My god. Oh my god. That cut always makes me laugh. It's just like, whoop, she's changed. Oh god, this is so freaking adorable.
I'm with you now.
That's not
Oh,
what I mean.
how she like sinks deeper into her hand. Oh
Pass
god.
over. Jesus, touch it!
I'm going.
Hey, oh,
She does not like this conversation.
I got this chance. We got this chance. I want to share it with you.
Oh god.
You feel bad because your husband isn't here?
Uh-oh.
Because that was his choice.
Uh-oh. Oh
Don't.
no.
He
Oh no,
chose
Yorkie.
not. But what he did, it was selfish, actually.
Whew. Yikes. Okay, question guys. Did she like punch her or did she slap her? Because we know Kelly got a hand.
The bond, the commitment, the boredom, the yearning, the laughter, the love of it, the fucking love you just cannot know. We had a daughter. Allison died at 39 years old, bless her heart, and Richard and I, we felt that
Oof.
heartbreak as one.
Gugu
Graveyard was so
Mbatha-Raw,
lovely.
who
He
plays
said, "How
Kelly in
can
this
I?"
episode, like phenomenal.
When
Like
she
this
is
scene
out,
alone, like
how can I?
phenomenal. I also feel
Most
like in this
fucks at the
scene, she
quagmire
totally
trying anything to
reminds
feel
me of
something,
like
go ahead.
Kerry Washington, the way she
I'm
kind of
out.
acts, and she also kind of looks like Kerry Washington too. Damn, like kudos to the stunt woman because like that visual of the body like crashing through the front window and then the sound of the glass breaking, intense visual. Also would like to point out the obvious parallel because that's sort of how Yorkie became a quadriplegic, and you know, luckily this is San Junipero, so since Kelly has her pain slider set to 0, that obviously didn't happen to her. Oh, the hands, the music. Oh god, I think that scene is so heartbreaking too, like when you see her disappear, because like now you see like what it looks like when someone leaves and leaves behind someone. It's like so sad to see someone's body deteriorate over time, you know, like obviously just that's just like a natural part of life, but I think it's just like, oh, it's like so sad because we see the scenes of like a youthful, lively Kelly, and then we cut back to scenes of elderly Kelly where her body's just, you know, slowing down.
Okay then.
Huh?
She's like, what? Okay, every time I see this plane, I always like wonder like where is it going and where is it coming from? Because I feel like that implies that there's like other lands other than just San Junipero. Ah, look at that cassette tape. and then license plate York 1. I feel like that's sort of like a reference too to like that whole like player 1, player 2 idea, because like if you stopped watching the episode at that point, you think like, oh, that's it. That's the player 1 ending, but now we get the player 2 ending. But I'm sure you guys, if you're like watching this video, I feel like you're a fan of San Junipero, so obviously you already know that. I also like love the like juxtaposition between like this really upbeat, happy song and like images of Kelly dying. Oh, my heart. I love that reveal every single goddamn time. I love it. The way they shot it and the way like the point where they chose the music to play at that point, it's beautiful. This is like literally the greatest ending of all endings to have ever ended, because you have your two protagonists literally riding off into the goddamn sunset together. And I also love how, like, you know, now Yorkie is finally able to drive herself again. And now, like, she's dancing. Oh. It's like, it really is, like, they, like, bookend this so well. Oh, it's so cute. I get so sad every time, like, it does its final cut away from these two characters, because I love them so much, but it's like, that's it. Okay, guys, so now we're gonna, like, get into the episode more and talk about it, obviously, like we do with every video. However, unlike every video, usually at this point I kind of just talk freely and I go off the cuff, but I have notes this time, okay, of like things that I specifically want to talk about in regards to this episode, because if I don't stay on track, I can literally like ramble and talk about this episode for hours on end. But we have an agenda, so I will make sure I stay on task. So I'm just gonna go down my list. First, I specifically want to talk about the writing of this episode really like quickly. Charlie Brooker had like a really interesting task when writing this episode, because he had to sort of balance between withholding information, but at the same time like giving away like little hints and clues to the audience as to like maybe this is what's going on, and then like obviously telling a story. And I feel like he did that really, really well. Obviously when you first watch the episode, I feel like majority of the time you really have like no freaking clue what the hell is going on, and I personally think that's sort of like the joy in watching this episode, is the confusion and then like the big reveal. You're like, oh, that's what's happening. But upon watching this episode again, you pick up all the little hints and clues, whether it's from like side conversations or like little things that the characters say. Like everything in this episode like legitimately serves a purpose. Some people I've read felt like Kelly's decision to stay in San Junipero kind of like comes out of the blue, and they wish they would have seen that ultimate decision of her making, okay, I'm gonna stay in San Junipero. I think I personally like it better that we don't really get that clear moment from her. When you see Yorkie like drive up to her house, you don't know what's going on, and then Yorkie beeps the horn of her car, and then we see Kelly finally emerge from the beach house. I feel like that whole sequence wouldn't have like the same emotional impact that it does if we knew like, okay, Kelly decided to stay. That's part of the reason why like I find this ending so enjoyable to watch. Like even when I know what's gonna happen, I love the idea of thinking like, for people who haven't seen this episode and they're watching it for the first time, that like up in the airness of, oh my god, is Kelly gonna stay or not? I personally like that. But again, like kudos to Charlie Brooker. It's so well written. And then another thing that I really wanted to talk about specifically is the performances in this episode. If it wasn't for Gugu, Mbatha-Raw, and Mackenzie Davis's performance, this episode like really wouldn't be successful like without these two actresses, because I feel like they did such a phenomenal job. Mackenzie Davis, you really like see the arc in her character just based on like her body language alone. And then for me, as great as Mackenzie Davis is in this episode, I feel like Gugu Mbatha-Raw does such a phenomenal job playing Kelly. Gugu Mbatha-Raw does such a great job of playing someone who physically looks young, but at the same time has had these like very mature emotional life experiences and has lived a full life. I think what is the mark of a really great actress is obviously their ability to transform. And if you guys aren't familiar with her previous work, she's actually British. So every time I watch this episode, I'm just like taken aback that this is the same person. I just think like, you know, Gugu is just so criminally underrated. I just wish all the best for her because I really truly think she is so talented. And then just getting more into like the themes, obviously it's really important that we focus on the fact that this is a love story between a lesbian woman and a bisexual woman. You know, I think Charlie Brooker said it best when he said like that fact alone, it's significant but also insignificant. Obviously it's significant in that when we think about, at least here in the United States, in 2016 there was that whole burying your gay thing happening on TV where a lot of like the LGBTQ women were like getting killed off. But I think it's kind of ironic that one of the few shows to actually give their LGBTQ female characters a happy ending is Black Mirror. So kudos to Charlie Brooker for, you know, writing such a beautiful ending for these two great characters. And again, like, it's really interesting when you think about the fact that obviously in 1987, which is like when the majority of this story is set, a lesbian woman and a bisexual woman, they never would have been able to get married. But like here in alternate San Junipero land, like they can get married. So that's like the significant aspect. But then like also for me, one of the reasons why I love this episode is because at the end of the day too, this is just simply a love story between two characters, two souls who are like literally able to connect and fall in love, and how their love literally defies space and time. Like normally when people say that, it's really dramatic, but like here it is very literal that their love defies space and time. And then for me, a very large reason why I love this episode is because of like this whole idea of second chances. Because for me, ultimately, I feel like San Junipero is the embodiment of second chances. Because like, first of all, when you look at Yorkie's character, she now, because of San Junipero, has the chance of getting to like live a life that she just wasn't able to because she was confined to her bed since she was a quadriplegic. And now because of San Junipero, now she has the opportunity to do everyday like life things. Again, like holding a quarter, playing a video game, dancing, falling in love. Like these are things that like Yorkie never was able to do in her life, unfortunately. But you know, now in San Junipero she can. And then for Kelly, her second chances, yes, this is someone who has lived a very full life, but at the same token, she never got the chance to love a woman. Like she said, she's had crushes, but she never acted on any of it. So now in San Junipero, Kelly has the opportunity and the chance to explore what it is like to be in a relationship with a woman, and you know, just like living out that aspect of her identity. Just this general idea of like San Junipero existing for people to suddenly have this second chance is beautiful. And then when I look at all the elderly people who have access to San Junipero, I'm like genuinely happy for them. You get a second chance at like being in your prime and living in your 20s in a way that you just like weren't able to because like life obligations, you know? In general, I feel like because this is like the one uplifting happy episode of Black Mirror, I personally wouldn't suggest this to be the first episode that someone watches in the world of Black Mirror. I feel like the beauty in this episode is the fact that it is uplifting and happy, but in order to really appreciate the fact that it is like a beautiful, like happy, uplifting story, you have to get through the sad, twisted episodes of Black Mirror. Because I feel like if you just like go in watching this singular episode, you're gonna like have this expectation that all Black Mirror episodes are like that, which obviously they aren't. I would definitely recommend this episode to like all of my friends, but I would make sure they watch different episodes of Black Mirror before getting to this one. And like for me, this was actually my second episode of Black Mirror that I watched. The first was the history view, and then I watched this one second. However, my defense is that this was actually the first episode of TV that I watched after Trump got elected. The 2016 election, that's not a Black Mirror episode, that's a real goddamn thing. So in that period of me feeling like very helpless and hopeless and full of despair, a Black Mirror episode ironically was the first thing that actually made me feel hopeful and gave me a lot of comfort and made me happy. So yeah, I would suggest that this isn't the first Black Mirror episode that someone watches, but I would require that they watch this episode. Alright, so, two questions that I posed for you guys now. Yes, I said two. Normally I only do one, but I love this episode, so two. So the first question that I have for you guys is the obvious one, which is, would you go to San Junipero? For me, I would definitely go to San Junipero. Like right now, maybe you can ask me at a different point in my life and I would say no, but like right now, especially me being in my 20s, and I definitely have moments where I feel like I'm not living my life the way I feel like I should be in my 20s, I would definitely take the opportunity and the chance to get to relive this point in my life. And like literally a couple weeks before I saw this episode, I had tweeted out like what my ideal version of heaven would be, and I legit said my ideal version of heaven would be one, me being young enough to dance again. And I feel like I've never talked about this, but it's because it's kind of like a sore spot, honestly. It's like a very personal thing for me. But growing up, I danced for 17 years of my life, and I kind of like had to stop because like that's a completely different story, but I had to stop because life. And you know, ever since I stopped, there's never been a day that has gone by where I have not thought like, what if I didn't stop? If I were to go to San Junipero and like get to be this young again, I'd make sure I was still dancing, because especially like as a dancer, the clock is ticking. Like you can only dance for so long before your body betrays you and you like just can't physically do what you were able to do. So if San Junipero were to hypothetically exist, I would obviously be eternally young forever, and I would make sure I was dancing, because dancing is like it was like my first love. And then also I tweeted out too that in my ideal version of heaven, I would concert hop to like all the greats in their prime. So like I would concert hop to a Michael Jackson concert and a Prince concert and a Whitney concert and a Stevie Wonder concert and a Beyonce concert. Like I would just be concert hopping all over the place. And implied in me concert hopping is this idea of like time traveling, and that's exactly what you do in San Junipero. So I feel like low-key, like Charlie Brooker jumped into my head and psyche and was like, what can I write to like really get in her head? And like this was the episode that like came out. With all of that being said, I would definitely take San Junipero for sure. Second question I have for you guys is, what era, if you were to go to San Junipero, would you want to visit? And for me, I would definitely go to the 80s. I just feel like the culture and the overall like atmosphere of the 80s is just like so cool. Pop culture in the 80s was so good. Like you're talking about like MTV, and obviously like Michael Jackson and Prince and Whitney and Janet and, you know, even Madonna and Hall & Oates and all these different people. Like it was just like, everything was just so good. Like even the movies were good too. So I don't know particularly which like year in the 80s I would go to, but I would definitely go to the 80s. And you know, like for me, like personally, obviously I was not alive during the 80s, but as someone who was not a part of that era, so I have like an outsider's perspective looking at that particular decade. I know obviously like bad things happened, as they always do, but I just feel like in general, like that entire decade was just like so innovative and so optimistic and so like full of heart and passion, and I just like really admire those qualities. And I think that's just like, you know, whenever I think about like this current culture and generation, we are so cynical. Like we always are so quick to point out like what's wrong instead of thinking like what we can do. And I just feel like the 80s was just like all about that. If I had the chance to like go back and like be a part of that era, even if it was just like through virtual reality, I would go. And man, like that's it. All right, I feel like I said everything I wanted to say about San Junipero, at least like everything I have written down I crossed out. You know, if you want to continue the conversation about this episode, just comment down below and I will definitely write back. I love talking about this episode, so I'm sure I've missed a lot of things, or I didn't touch on things that should have been touched on. So yeah, just let me know. And I just like quickly wanted to say, if you are a super fan of the San Junipero episode of Black Mirror, like I am, I will be linking down in the description box several links. First, I will share the link to this great article that was written by Salon. They point out all the really like interesting facts and like tidbits that like you just would have never gotten, all the different like things they reference. Also, there's a really interesting interview with Gugu, Mbatha-Raw, and Charlie Brooker, where they talk about like obviously what it was like to create and work on this particular episode. So, and then of course, like I've said many times, if you are a fan of the music from this particular episode, I will be linking down in the description box below. Charlie Brooker, he made this Spotify playlist that is sort of inspired by this episode. So all the songs from this episode are in there, as well as like other songs that just like weren't there because of like copyright issues or whatnot. All those links will be down below in the description box. And also, if you guys didn't notice, I'm not sure if you could really see this, but I have this Obviously, it's a San Junipero t-shirt. I ordered it off of Etsy. If you guys like this shirt, I will be linking down below the link so you can order this shirt from Etsy as well. It's some girl who makes this shirt. I'm not like sponsored by her in any way, and I don't know her personally. I just thought I'd like share that with you guys if you like this shirt. Right, I think that's it. God, ooh, I'm kind of sad. This is the one living reaction of this episode that I will have on YouTube. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction and review of the San Junipero episode. I felt like I talked a lot. So again, if you want to continue the conversation, just comment down below and I promise you I will respond. As always, do not forget to like this video if you liked the video. Don't forget to comment down below and also like answering the questions because I'd love to hear what your guys' responses. And don't forget to turn on the notifications for this channel so you know when there's a new video up from me, and do not forget to subscribe. And as always, everything I said was just my own personal thoughts and all in my humble opinion. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you on Wednesday with a brand new video. Bye!